The noise in the market about Elias Pettersson's contract reached a fever pitch in the past week. Canucks management met with Pettersson last few days, and they got back to the negotiating table. Certainly not done, but they are talking contract, Don. I do believe in my heart. A lot of things came to this conclusion, the trade deadline, the noise in the market. It was at a fever pitch, Don. It really was. The two sides got together at some point this week and agreed to restart negotiations. And we will see where this goes. It doesn't matter if it was Pettersson or the Canucks management who wanted this to happen. It's a really good thing for the Canucks and their fans that the two sides are talking contract, because they haven't done that in a long time. So they're back at the negotiating table, and they are talking. So we will see where it goes.
So our poll question Monday was, and it escapes me, but something to the effect of,
who would you blame?
Who would you blame if Elias Pettersson got traded? Would you blame Elias Pettersson? Would you blame the Canucks? It was weighted heavily in favor or not in favor of Elias Pettersson. And the noise started, well, it didn't start there because we were reacting to Elliot Friedman's report on Saturday Night and Hockey Night in Canada. Mm-hmm. You know, there's something going on with Elias Pettersson, a lot of noise in the market, and the noise just kept increasing and increasing.
It did.
Rick, did it get to a point where the Canucks and Elias Pettersson said, boy, this is distracting. Let's get something done. Let's at the very least meet and start things up again. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it did. And I'll tell you something else. The agents and the Canucks can't talk contract without Pettersson saying, go ahead and do it. Mm-hmm. So it was Pettersson who gave the thumbs up to get this done. Pettersson himself to Ian McIntyre yesterday.
We're going to...
Yeah, I know that, but I'm trying to tell you why that these contracts got. Even the player is saying a lot of noise in the Canadian market, Donnie. Even when the player says that there is, it's getting too loud. So even when the player says it's getting too loud, that's why they got back together. The team, obviously, they can't have stories blown up every 2 weeks about Pettersson's contract. They can't. So this looks like to me, both sides said the heat's too much. Let's see if we can get a deal done. And they're trying to do it. Let's see if we can get traction. Could it be 8 years, Don? Yes. Could it be fewer than 8? Yes. If it's fewer, then
of course.
Yeah, hold it. I'm not talking 3 or 4 years. I'm talking, could it be 6, 7, 8? If you go lower, Don, the AAV is going to be higher. I keep saying to you, and you don't like it, I keep telling you the number is going to be 12, and I keep saying it. I keep feeling today, too, that the number is going to be higher than 12. I know you don't like that, but
you're throwing me under the bus here.
You don't like the number 12. You've clearly stated it should be lower.
I don't care, actually. If he gets what he gets, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're a Canuck fan, right, what's left for everybody else? Is he worth the same amount of money as Nathan? Well, I guess I do care.
Yeah.
Is he worth the same amount of money as Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid? Yep. Is he worth $4 million more than JT Miller?
Yeah, I keep telling you, I think the Canucks are in the low 11s, and maybe his camp might be higher at over 12, but I just see it being 12 or higher. That's just the great news is, Don, the agents and the team are talking contract this week, and we'll see if it gets done.
Well, it might not be great news if he ends up with $13 million this season.
But no one's putting a gun to the Canucks' head to do this, Don. I know you don't like those numbers, but don't you think the team, if the team thought that was too high, they wouldn't be offering it?
Do you think I'm the only one who focuses on the Canucks on a daily basis?
No, but I keep telling you.
Who would be upset if they paid him $13 million a year?
Well, guess what? Here's where we're at. That's the market for good young players who have points per game really high. Really high. He's on the verge of getting 100 points back-to-back years. Donnie, you got to pay for those guys. You got to pay for guys who get a ton of points.
Nathan McKinnon.
Bottom line.
You think $13 million would be okay?
If that's what.
So Nathan McKinnon has won a Stanley Cup.
That's what the market bears.
Yeah, and Connor McDavid has won multiple trophies.
He should be the highest
Elias
of them all.
Pettersson's in that league.
Well, but when did McDavid sign his deal? Many years ago. Right, and here's where we are. Here's what the market.
I hate that when people say,
But it's true. He signed his contract many years ago.
What's wrong with me saying, and a lot of people saying, hey, is he worth as much as McDavid? What's wrong with having that conversation? Yeah. Is he worth that much more than JT Miller? I don't see what the big deal is.
He's young. He's got a great points per game in the NHL in his career. He's got a ton of points, and those guys get paid, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like it or not, those guys get paid.
Okay.
I'm not the one. If the Canucks give him 12.5 for 13, you got to attack the Canucks because they think it's value, and they're the ones paying it.
Okay. Well, Rick Tocchet has some things to say about Elias Pettersson. We'll get to that in a second. You alluded to Ian McIntyre's article on Sportsnet.ca. Ian was on our show earlier this week. Here's what he got out of Elias Pettersson. Short interview, but we got this, Ryan? A quote from Elias Pettersson through Ian McIntyre. This is what Pettersson told Sportsnet. I mean, I haven't lied. I'm an honest guy. I like to think, and I haven't said anything else about it. I haven't said anything. I'm not doing. It's a lot of noise. Of course, I'm human. I hear it, and I'm trying to focus on what I can control. And that's Elias Pettersson talking about, the noise in the market, media, fans, social media, which is big. And, people are going to, if you're human, you're a player. I don't care how talented you are. You're human. You're going to check out these things, and it sounds like it's getting to him a little bit.
It's getting to him,
and understandably so.
And the other quote was, "It's a lot of noise playing." Yeah, okay. At an appropriate time, we'll figure it out. A lot of noise playing in a Canadian market, and people rip me for saying, "Oh, it's a Canadian market." No, this isn't a prime example how a Canadian market gets to players. This is it right here, Don.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, so you're gonna do it again. He himself, a superstar in this city, is telling you
it's true.
Right there. It's a lot of noise playing in the Canadian market. And when I say it, everybody attacks me. Oh, don't say it's a Canadian market.
You're saying it's right that these guys who are making all sorts of money playing a kid's game are complaining.
It's not a kid's game. It's a business. It's not Adam.
What are you talking about?
It's not Adam.
They're putting
it's not
a puck.
Pee-wee. It's not Bantam.
Rick, they're putting a puck in the net and
for
they're
money,
getting paid millions
for
of
salary.
dollars, and they're in a public forum. They'll be okay.
Yeah.
The justification for oh my gosh, she's getting criticized. Please, the payoff is pretty darn good. Well, literally, the payoff is pretty good.
He just said exactly what I say all the time. Some players can't handle Canadian markets. That's the bottom. He's telling you right there. It's a lot of noise playing in the Canadian market.
But you think that's okay? You understand that?
But hey, well, I will say this. 20 years ago, players didn't have to put up with social media. They didn't have to put up with cell phones and buddies texting them, say, "Hey, did you hear this guy said this about you? Did you hear this guy? I will say this. It's a different world.
I've said this before. The problem with the NHL is that you've got these different levels of attention. You can go to Florida and disappear if you want. You can be somewhat of a star in a place like New York or Boston, or you could be a rock star and all the positives and negatives that come with that and play in a Canadian market.
That's it.
So that I will give you that. But,
thank you.
It's
not Carolina, Don. It's not Columbus.
Your life is difficult because you're putting a puck in the net and you're making millions of dollars a year. There's a lot of people out there. Sorry, they're not going to buy it.